The day my son Laurel started kindergarten, he recounted country overalls with bids and being wearing blue jeans with a belt. I watched him go off the first morning with the older girls next door, seeing clearly that an era of my life was ended. My sweet voiced nursery school taught replaced with a long serve swagging character who forgot to stop at the corner and wave goodbye to me. He came home the same day, the front door slamming ruthlessly shut. Isn't anybody here? At lunch she spoke. I and sorely to his father, spilled his baby sister's milk, and remarked that his teacher said we were not to take the name of the Lord in vain. How was school today? I asked, elaborate casually. All right, he said. Did you learn anything? His father asked. Lauren regarded his father coldly. I didn't learn nothing, he said. Anything, I said. Didn't learn anything. The teacher spanked a boy, though. Laura L. said, addressing his bread and butter for being fresh. He added with his mouth full. What did he do? I asked. Who was it? Lauren thought it was Charles, he said. He was fresh. The teacher spanked him and made him stand in a corner. He was awfully fresh. What did he do? I asked. But Lauren slid off his chair, took a cookie, and left, while his father was still saying, see here, young man. Then the next day, L remarked at lunch as soon as he sat down, well, Charles was bad again today. He grinned enormously and said, today, Charles hit the teacher. Good heavens, I said, mindful of Lauren's name. I suppose he got spanked again. He sure did, Al said. Look up, he said to his father. What? His father said, looking up. Look down, Al said, looking at my thumb. Gee, you're dumb, he began to laugh insanely. Why did Charles hit the teacher? I asked quickly. Because she tried to make him color with red crowns. Elle said Charles wanted to color with green crowns, so he hit the teacher and she spanked him and said nobody play with Charles, but everybody did. The third day, it was Wednesday of the first week, Charles bounced and seesaw on the head of a little girl and made her bleed, and the teacher made him stay inside during recess. Thursday, Charles had to stand in a corner. During story time, because he kept pounding his feet on the floor. Friday, Charles was deprived of blackboard privileges because he threw chalk. Chair took a cookie and left, while his father was still saying, see here, young man. The next day, Lauren remarked at lunch as soon as he sat down, well, Charles was bad again today. Listen, Judy said. We'll tell you what he said. Mr. Sharp was a general man who lived near the Walpoles and gave the children nickels and took the boyish fishing. He says ladies going to get shot, Jack said. But the spikes, Judy tells about the spikes. The spikes, Jack said. Listen, Mama, he says, you gotta get a collar for lady. A strong collar, Jude said. And you get big, thick nails like spikes, and you hammer them into the collar. All around, Judy said. Let me tell you it. Jack, you hammer these nails all around so there make spikes inside the collar. But it looks loose, Jack said. Let me tell you this part. It's loose, and you put it around lady's neck. And Judy puts her hand on her throat and made a strangling noise. Not yet, Jack said. Not yet, dope. First you gotta get a long rope. A really long rope, Judy affirmed, and you fasten it to the collar, and then we put the collar on Lady, Jack said. Lady was sitting next to him, and he leaned over and said, then we put this real sharp, spiky collar around her neck and the hicks, the top of her head, while Lady regarded him affectionately, and then we take her where there are chickens, Judy said, and we show her the chickens. So we turn her loose and make her chase the chickens, Jack said. And then she gets right up and close to the chickens, we pull on the rope. And Judy made her strangling noise. The spikes cut her head off. Jack finished dramatically. They both began to laugh, and Lady looked from one to another, panting, as though she were laughing too. Mrs. Whirlpool looked at them, at her two children, with their dog, with blood still on her legs, laughing with them. She went to the kitchen doorway to look outside at the cool green hills and the mountains of apple trees and the soft afternoon breeze. Cut your head right off, Jack was saying. Everything was quiet and lovely in the sunlight, the peaceful sky, the gentle line of the hills. Mrs. Whirlpool closed her eyes, suddenly feeling the harsh hands pulling her down, the sharp points closing in on her throat. And that is the end to that story. I'm literally watching Colleen right now, and her shirt is that Workout Barbie. When I was a kid, I would listen to that tape because it came with a Barbie my mom bought, and it was called Workout Barbie, and that looks like Workout Barbie from like the 80s. And yeah, for some reason, Barbie thought tape was still in, even though it wasn't. But like, is that Workout Barbie on your shirt? Please tell me that's Workout Barbie on her shirt. Oh, I would love if that was Workout Barbie. I'm gonna say for fuck's sake, yes, because this has gone to my Patreon. Yes, girl, yes. And yeah, I gifted myself a pair of my own earrings. I'll have to make a new pair of these. These are now mine. I'm gonna wear them tomorrow for Mother's Day. Yep, I'm obsessed with those ones. Okay, I am uploading to my podcast. It's about an hour long, apparently. And I'm typing in Shirley Jackson. She is such a horror queen. I fucking love her work. I think Charlie is my favorite one, and of course Lottery. The Lottery, though, just reminds me of Hunger Games, and I'm like, oh, it's probably where Hunger Games got it from. I had to figure out how to spell Charlie. I didn't see how PTA meeting. Invited her over for a cup of tea after the meeting, he said. I want to get a look at her. If only she's there, I said prayerfully. She'll be there, my husband said. I don't see how they could hold a PTA meeting without Charles' mother. At the meeting, I sat restlessly, scanning each comfortable, manturely face, trying to determine which one hid the secret of Charles. None of them looked at me. Hanged enough. No one stood out in the meeting and apologized for the way her son had been acting. No one mentioned Charles. After the meeting, I identified and sought out Lauren's kindergarten teacher. She had a plate with a cup of tea and a piece of chocolate cake. I had a plate with a cup of tea and a piece of marshmallow cake. What is marshmallow cake? Someone tell me, please. Now I want to look it up. We menued up to one another occasionally and smiled. I have been so anxious to meet you, I said. I'm Elle's mother. We're all so interested in Elle, she said. Well, he certainly likes kindergarten, I said. He talks about it all the time. We had a little trouble adjusting the first week or so, she said primarily, but he's a fine little helper, with occasional lapse, of course. Elle usually adjusts very quickly, I said. I suppose this time it's Charles' influence. Charles? Yes, I said, laughing. You must have your hands full in that kindergarten with Charles. Charles, she said. We don't have a Charles in the kindergarten. I knew it. He's Charles. I was red. I was red. I was red, 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 red. I like being red in stories. And then other times I'm bored of it.